Coming into the semifinals of the Zon Cup. On the blue side, we have I Will Never Lose, Devin in the top lane, World in jungle, Eggman in the mid lane, Glacier Fanboy on AD carry with Aqua Complex on support. And on the red side, we have Kranken Degens, Max V7 in the top lane, Enjoy Gaming in jungle, Nardgo in the mid lane, Crone Acorn on AD carry with Fernandez on support. Let's look at the strengths and weaknesses of these team comps. For Never Lose, I'm seeing great dive out of Irelia and Fiddlesticks, with Galio to back it up. Jin and Swain are pretty good partners for this dive, since they can provide help from a long way away without putting themselves into too much threat. Meanwhile, on the Kranken Degens side, they've got a really solid front-to-back comp. Nami can provide good disengage to keep those divers off of Crone, and Sejuani can help with that front as well. I think once the Degens can pick up one kill, Nargo's Viego can use that reset and start cleaning up the rest of the team fight. Getting on to the Rift, these teams do have some level 1 potential. The Sejuani and Viego can pair up to get some stuns off really quickly. However, on the flip side, there's a pretty good catch with the Swain, Jin, and Galio. We might see something happen here for the level 1s. It looks like the Kranken Degens are possibly going through for an invade.
30 seconds.
Looks like Aqua might have spotted them out. Max is going to throw a cleaver, but it looks like both teams will just disengage. Oh, it looks like the World possibly might be setting up a trap if Max takes a greedy route to his lane. Devin's coming to help him out. Looks like Eggman's on his way up as well. This could be big for Never Lose. And Devin stepping out is going to give Max the tip off to back off just before any real damage can be done. Gives them a cleaver for their troubles, and everyone heads to their lanes. Going to be a bot side start for both these junglers. I think Enjoy is mainly going to be looking to gank around the mid lane, whereas World is going to be looking to try and get Devin ahead on that Irelia. Now, I want to take a little bit of time to talk about how these lane matchups are expected to play out. I think Devin has a good amount of kill threat with the Irelia on Shamundo, but on the flip side, Nardgo on his Viego has an excellent matchup against that Galio. You can see he's already started to get a huge health raise, and this is just going to get worse the later the game goes. Once Nardgo picks up some magic resist and lifesteal, he'll just be able to trade well into Galio and then heal off any of the damage he took. Over here, we've got another very volatile lane. I think pre-6, the Jin and Swain are going to have a lot more kill threat, but once Crone gets that level 6 Varus, oh, and as I say that, Aqua lands the first hook, and you can see how strong this Swain Jin lane can be early. Crone takes about 90% of his health from a single skill shot landing from Aqua Complex. And that's going to give the early level 2. Lands one onto Fernandez as well. The root from Glacier, and that's going to force Fernandez's flash, so big advantages early on from some key hooks out of Aqua Complex. Is that a third hook? I think this is going to be the kill here. He's got the Ignite onto Crone, and it will be. First blood goes over to Aqua Complex. 3 for 3 on these hooks. He's on fire so far. Meanwhile, the Blade pushing against Eggman. He's in a really vulnerable spot right now. Looks to go in for a trade, misses the Justice Punch. Narco's looking to trade back in and steps into tower. That's going to be way too aggressive. Eggman will punish his mistake and pick up a kill in a very difficult matchup. That's going to do a big job at slowing down Viego for the Kranken Degens. This might also turn into a double Scuttle Crab for World's Fiddlesticks, with Viego being pushed out, but it looks like he is going to get there in time to get priority in mid lane to contest that bottom one, so not sure if World will go for it. He's running for it though. You can see Glacier and Aqua attempting to push up to try and cover him on that Scuttle Crab. And Eggman's on his way up too. I like this, seeing the entire team knowing what the important objective up is right now. It's that Scuttle Crab. and they've got 4 people all playing around it. This is great synergy and coordination from Never Lose. And that is going to secure the double straddle for World's Fiddlesticks. And another hook landing for Aqua. Is this going to be another kill? Fernandez doesn't have her flash from earlier. H is going to flash and the kill goes over to Aqua. Looks like in the mid lane, Eggman took a good trade into Nargo and Enjoy's coming to help bail him out. Shove out this wave for him. This is a very important thing to do, even though it spends a lot of Enjoy's time. If this wave gets frozen against Nargo, he can get put really far behind, and it can set up for ganks from World's Fiddlesticks, and he's already been off to a great start as it is. Up in top lane, Devin waiting patiently, knowing that his jungle is on the opposite side of the map. I like this. He's not going to miss too many minions, but actually, the way the wave meets, it looks like the wave is going to start pushing against him, so we will have to step up and try and clear this out. This is a really dangerous spot for Devin right now. I want to see him try and clear this wave pretty quickly, just throw his spells on it, and then try and get a recall, and possibly he call a World up to back him up. Looks like World is pathing to the top lane. I like to see that, covering your top laner when his wave's in a vulnerable state. Meanwhile, this wave pushing away from the bot lane, it looks like Enjoy's pathing down to co-cover them a little bit. Nargo seems to have set up a bit of a freeze here. This has put Eggman in kind of an awkward spot, but I think this will go ahead and crash into the tower. Alright. And so, as you can see, a bit of a CS advantage opening up for Nargo's Viego. This matchup is still very favorable for the Viego, despite the early kill going in the way of Eggman. But regardless, the 3 kills have given Never Lose over 1,000 gold in this early game. Joy is looking to make something happen. He's not spotted, but Eggman just is playing properly towards where he knows his jungle is. And most importantly, this is going to pick up another Scuttle Crab for World's Fiddlesticks. Or he might look for a gank mid lane. Looks like he is turning back for that Scuttle Crab. Devin was able to push out the lane top. Eggman goes in for a quick trade onto Nargo's Viego. Oh, and I like what he did there. He used that taunt, but then didn't keep on extending the trade. He knows all his cooldowns are down, so he just uses that taunt to disengage. And Enjoy's going to have to come back, spend more time helping Nargo get that reset so that he doesn't get ganked by World's Fiddlesticks. A lot of pressure coming out for Eggman that's giving them a lot of advantages from this mid lane. And it looks like their the bot lane for their Kranken Degens got chunked out as well and are going to have to take a base. Over here in the top lane, we have a bit of a level deficit for Devin's Irelia, while there's a big wave for Max's Dr. Mundo. But he should be able to safely crash that. Well, on the bottom side, it looks like Never Lose is picking up this Ocean Dragon. Doesn't look like there's going to be any contest from the Kranken Degens. And so it's... Oh, and it looks like they're making the play on mid lane, seeing the dragon go down. I think they will be able to take him out here, and they are going to. The kill goes over to Enjoy, which is not where they want it, but Nargo will be able to shove this big wave in. Meanwhile, Devin's Irelia goes onto Max's Dr. Mundo and picks up a solo kill. And over in the mid lane, it looks like we had some more trading. Let's see if we can go back and see that. No, it looks like we're going back to see what happened with World after this dragon take. You can see he starts pathing towards bot side, but seeing Enjoy Sejuani come for that gank mid, he moves over into the mid lane. He is spotted here, but possibly a bit of overconfidence from Nargo to stick around. Channels that ultimate. He does win the flash, but it looks like it is going to be the 1-for-1 here as Enjoy Sejuani comes in, and the kill does go over to Nargo this time, so that's going to be big for getting him rolling in this game. You can see, Nargo is actually the richest man in the game with 3,000 gold. This is going to be bad news for Eggman's Galio, who's been playing this lane so well, being so patient with his trading and patterns and playing around his jungle properly. But that one mistake has really propelled Nargo ahead in this favorable matchup. With level 6s in for the 80 carries, but not for the supports. I think this is going to favor their Kranken Degens bot lane a bit, but I don't think they'll be able to get too much out of it with the way the lane sway is, and I can't imagine Aqua's far from 6. Yep, there he is. He's taking over to 6. So I want to see their Kranken Degens playing it a little defensively, waiting for that Nami ult. Good job of Crone to step away from those hooks that have been seeming to be heat-seeking out of Aqua this game. But once that Nami ult comes in, they'll have a good way to interrupt up the Jhin ultimate, where he has to stand still to fire those long-range, high-damage shots. Looks like a slow's going to come in. Aqua's looking for the hook, but Crone wisely backing away. Goes for a bit of poke to not let them get the pink ward for free. And it looks like a big wave built up for Max here. But possibly another gank in the mid lane. Looks like Enjoy is just passing through on his way to go clear his blue buff. Meanwhile, on the other side, World is hovering around. Looks like he might be making the play onto Nargo. Nargo steps forward. He has no idea this is happening. This could be bad for him. He's trying to escape with that Diego speed, but the flash out of Eggman with the Ignite is going to take him down, and that's another one on the board for Never Lose, but it looks like Enjoy is able to find something back in the bot lane. Let's go ahead and see how that happened. So, Crone and Fernandez hiding under their tower for a little bit. They want to get those levels equaled up, and there we see Fernandez has hit the level 6, so she can't interrupt the Jhin ulti. He channels it. Oh, that was such an impressive read coming out of Fernandez. Crone turning the ultimate down onto Aqua Complex, and Enjoy is right there to follow up on the excellent turn out of Crone and Fernandez. The Aqua Complex is going to flash away, but all that does is get the kill over to Enjoy instead of Crone. Devin looking like he might be looking to go aggressive onto Max, but Max is looking to turn it around. The ultimate comes out of Devin. He's able to land the stun, a couple of dash resets, and he's able to take down Max. Nice turn out of Devin. And so with that, the gold lead's still only about 2,000 here. It hasn't opened up too much. But we're dealing with some technical difficulties, and we'll get the game right back and going. Alright, and as we can see on the scoreboard, big advantages out of the side lanes for Never Lose. Well, in the mid lane, the advantage that Nargo had has started to slip away from him, as playing a little too aggressively has really cost him and his team some extra gold. Looks like Nargo's going to find out World, though. Is this going to be a solo kill? The Galio comes down, though. They're looking to turn, but Enjoy's here. He spotted this out. They're jumping back onto World. Nargo's going to flash on him, take him out. That's going to be the reset he needs to keep on going in this fight. He's jumping onto Eggman. Another ultimate coming out. Eggman goes down. Nargo's looking to turn onto Aqua. I think he might be out here. Nargo lands the W, followed up by the Sejuani ult coming out of Enjoy Gaming. And is this going to be a third kill over to Nargo? Yes, it will be. 3 kills onto this Viego. And just as I said, the lane was starting to stabilize for Eggman a little bit. This triple kill over to Nargo is really going to get things back rolling for the Kranken Degens. They brought the gold down to only 300 difference. With that plate going down, it's 200. And look at that, 5,000 gold onto Nargo. He's up over 1,500. Looks like Crone and Fernandez doing some aggressive trading onto Glacier. He's going to open up with the ulti. And he'll hit a few shots, but they are able to walk it out. And that Nami's just going to be able to heal them right back up. You can see Glacier chugging away at his potions. But I think Crone and Fernandez want to try and get something here before Aqua gets back. But it looks like World might be coming over to give him some help. And oh my goodness, Glacier Fanboy stepping up big there. He's able to land the root, setting up for Aqua's Visions of Empire, and is able to take down Fernandez in almost a 1v2. Well played out of this, out of the Never Lose spot. And perfect timing too, as this will transition into the second dragon of the game, as they will be able to pick up the Cloud Dragon. And Enjoy just gonna have to clear his wolves. There's no place for him to be had around here.
Turret plating will fall soon.
And Nargo is overextended. He should know that the Never Lose players were in the area after they had just claimed that dragon. Bit of greed coming out of the Kranken Degens mid laner right now. And with that shutdown going over to Eggman, that's going to help him out a little bit. He's brought the gold back within 1,000. Still a sizable lead for Nargo's Viego. Devin's just going to pick up this wave in the top lane. And I want to talk a little bit about who's more on the clock here. And I think you've got to favor their Kranken Degens in the late game. Their comp is just so much more simple to execute. It's much easier to keep players from diving than it is to actually find those openings to dive. Fiddlesticks needs to find these pockets where their Kranken Degens don't have any vision, and use that to, hold that thought, because Enjoy's coming for a gank in the mid lane. He jumps onto Eggman, Nargo's with him, and that's going to be an easy one. And that's another kill for the win condition of their Kranken Degens. They're going to have a lot of troubles dealing with this Viego in the side lanes or in the team fights. But anyway, I want to go back to talking about how I'm expecting this game to go as it gets later and later. I think the ease of execution coming out of having these two big beefy front lines out of the Dr. Mundo and Sejuani from Max and Enjoy Gaming. It's going to make it so much easier for Crone to operate in these fights. And meanwhile, Glacier Fanboy, he's going to have to worry about Viego diving onto him if his back line gets too far, or if his front line gets too far from him. And World is going to be forced to try and... He really wants to be playing from an advantage so that the Never Lose can push their vision line up and clear out their Kranken Degens wards. And so as their Kranken Degen comes in to try and get vision around these neutral objectives, that's when World can really find these Fiddlesticks ultimates onto their back line. And you can see right now he's looking for something possibly on Nargo's Viego. I think it's a little ambitious, especially with him not having vision of Enjoy, and he is awfully close. Eggman's roaming down to the bot lane. Crone's getting a little low, but Nargo's Viego is in hot pursuit. This could be a fight breaking out here. And it looks like both teams are just going to back out of this. Meanwhile, Devins drops the Rift Herald in top lane. He's gaining a bit of an advantage there. And there's just excellent vision coverage in this river for Never Lose. They can track Nargo's movements very easily. Oh, but despite the excellent vision coverage in the river, they had none for Devin in the top lane. And he goes down. Excellent job out of Enjoy Sejuani to see that there was a play that Never Lose was making down in the bot lane, and he goes and looks for the answer play in the top lane. I think you gotta criticize Devin a little bit here, though. Oh, they had such good vision on the bot lane, and you can use that process of elimination to be able to figure out that Enjoy had to be on the top lane if he wasn't in the bot lane. World is looking for that counterplay, though, in the bot lane. He's gonna go for the tower dive, it looks like. But before he does, it looks like Crone and Fernandez have been able to take out Aqua. I'd like to see how they did that, if we can get a replay. So, Aqua stepping up, looking for the hook, it looks like. Got good vision control. They want to get a chunk out before to make this tower dive come easier. Looks to go punish the root landing onto Crone, but Crone just turns the damage down, and an excellent ultimate coming out of Fernandez. She's been so aware of when Glacier's ulting and has just been ready to cancel it at a moment's notice. He hasn't gotten more than one shot off with these Jhin ultimates, with one exception. And it really wastes a lot of World's time. That's a very smart play to try and look to punish the bot lane while Enjoy is punishing top lane. But just really heads-up play from Crone and Fernandez have just put that completely to a stop. And I think Crone will be able to pick up the Duskblade here. It's going to be a big purchase for him, and they're going to start getting a lot more one-shot threat. 1v1 going on between Nargo and Eggman. And, oh, it looks like Nargo turns it around and solo kills him in the 1v1. Very impressive stuff. That's what happens when this matchup keeps on going. Viego just has so much more sustained damage, and Galio can't keep these trades going. And that's going to turn into the first dragon of the game for Kranken Degens. Without his ultimate, I don't see any way of World getting into this pit. Maybe he goes for a E over the wall, but I don't think anything's happening here. Dragon goes to Enjoy. Devin looking for a flank, but I'm not sure how much he wants this. And it looks like the teams are just going to split out without a fight breaking out. And it looks like with that dragon going down, the gold lead has also swung over in Kranken Degens' favor. Enjoy looking to possibly set up some coverage as his bot lane's pushing out. He is going to spot out World, and Crone and Fernandez will be able to get this pushed into tower without being ganked by the Fiddlesticks. Meanwhile, Max's Dr. Mundo has just had some free time up in that top lane. It looks like he's going to get a pretty big wave into that top lane turret and possibly take the turret. Neverlose is looking to probably try and make a play onto Nargo's Viego, but I don't think there's anything here. He's got the wave in a really nice spot. Yep, there goes the turret for Max's Dr. Mundo. And there's a now 1,000 gold lead coming in for Kranken Degens. They really turned the corner on this game. And Max using his pressure to go pick up the Scuttle Crab, give them some more vision around this Baron and in that river going between top and mid that Neverlose has been running around in. And it looks like we got two fights going on. Devin versus Nargo in the mid lane, Max versus Eggman in the top lane. World comes in, Nargo's forced to ult out. Enjoy going in, creating so much space, and Devin steps a little too far forward and Max takes him out. Looks like Kranken Degens might not be done yet, but I think the fight is dissipating. Oh, and in the bot lane, Crone takes down Glacier. Let's see how that happens. Looks like Aqua was starting to roam, and Crone is not one to leave Glacier unpunished. He fires off the ulti, misses it, but Glacier gets a little too overconfident, and look at that damage coming out of Crone's Varus. With that Duskblade complete and the Dark Harvest, he just melts through Glacier Fanboy. He's got to be playing a lot more respectively. Aqua's able to land the hook, but there's no kill to be had without Glacier to follow up. And it looks like they're Kranken Degens. I see them coming down. They possibly might be setting up a dive here. This is very risky, but it looks like Nargo is going to be caught out by World. I don't think this dive can happen in the bot lane. Max is looking to get a punish onto World though. Great CC coming out of Eggman's Galio. Oh, and the healing coming out of World. He's able to sustain through that Dr. Mundo damage and pick up another kill. That is huge for Neverlose. Just as the game was starting to slip out of their control, World comes up big with a couple of outplays in the mid lane. Now I like what I'm seeing out of the Kranken Degens here. They're rotating their bot lane into the mid lane. They'll be a lot safer here, and they can use their snap engage of the Varus ulti to punish the Neverlose if they step too far forward. In the bot lane, I don't think they're too good at running them down in a long lane. I think this is much better suited for Nargo's Viego, and yet as I say that, Krone rotates back over to the bottom lane, and Nardgo heads into the mid lane. But there might be a 2v2 breaking out, and it doesn't seem to be happening. Enjoy's in the area, but Devin and Eggman think that things are going a little too quiet. But as they back off, Enjoy and Nardgo use this opportunity to move down to the bot lane. They do have the Galio ult coming up soon. They're going to have to make this play quickly. I think the Galio ult's going to be up for this. This could be a big play right here under this tower. Enjoy pulls the trigger on the ultimate. It's going to go wide, but Nardgo jumps onto Glacier. Meanwhile, Krone free hitting. Glacier goes down to Nardgo. Krone forced to flash out. He had tower aggro there. I think Enjoy's going to go down in the back of that fight. Nardgo just barely scrapes away, and that is a couple of close calls for the Kranken Degens, but ultimately it is a 1-for-1. You really were hoping to get more out of that if you're a Never Lose fan. Nardgo able to slip on out of there. And in the meantime, World's taking on Max's Mundo in the mid lane, and we've seen this story before. World takes him down again. This guy's been on a tear. He's picked up 3 kills, I think, in the past 5 minutes. But on the other side, Enjoy has just been a monster this entire game. He's been sacrificing his farm for his team, covering Nardgo constantly, helping him acquire this big advantage, and he still has excellent kill participation. 3, 1, and 7, participating in 10 of the Kranken Degens' 13 kills. This guy's been instrumental into the Kranken Degens' lead. Bit of a trap being set up by Never Lose. I think Krone has a bit of a spidey sense he's tingling here, and he's going to back away from it. Enjoy, on the other hand, is going to be caught out by Eggman's Galio taunt. They're following up, but Nardgo's on the back line. Enjoy is away from the fight, and Krone does not have good front line to peel for him. This is not how Kranken Degens want to be fighting. Max is coming in from the flank. There's that front line that Krone needs, but Nardgo blows up, and Max is sure soon to follow. Krone has got to get out of here. There's not much more damage he can do. Glacier's taking them on, but I think he realizes that he can't step too far away from his team into Krone. And Fernandez comes in, but she's too late to the fight. She flashes to safety, but only into Glacier's waiting arms. Krone looking to see what he can do to fight them off this dragon. He does not want to give up Soul Point. But Glacier Fanboy opens up with the ultimate, and without Fernandez, there's no easy way to interrupt him. And that's going to be another kill, and the dragon going over to Never Lose. And that will go ahead and put them on Soul Point, give them back the control of the gold lead, and it's exactly what they need to get this game rolling. And I like what I'm seeing out of World here. He doesn't just stop with the incremental leads. They need to be pushing the pace of this game. He gets in there, steals away the blue buff, steals away the Gromp, and I think he's going to get out okay. I don't like that pathing. I think he should have gone right through the lane. He might get taken out by Nargo's Viego. Excellent read out of the Viego ultimate. He's going to take down World. The Galio ulti comes in, but I think he's just another kill over to Nardgo. And no, never mind. A good root coming out of Glacier's chin is going to put enough threat on. Fernandez disengages with the bubble. And, oh, Krone pulling the ultimate. That is such an aggressive turn, and with a follow-up from Sejuani, Krone is able to take down Aqua's Swain. Meanwhile, Nardgo goes down in the bot lane, but Devin is left all alone against the 3 members of Kranken Degens. They're looking for more. Enjoy has the flash. He's looking for a play. He flashes onto Glacier Flamboy. Excellent play out of him. Another kill goes over to Krone. Well shot by him. Eggman running desperately, but I think they're going to be able to run him down with that Chilling Smite and the Nami speed ups. I'd like to see them hand that kill over to Krone. It's a very free one. And it goes over to Enjoy, but still, Kranken Degens are going to be happy with this result. All the while, Max was pushing up in the top lane. Krone picks up a bunch of kills. An excellent look from him to see that Aqua Complex was overextended. No hesitation, just fires the ult, and they burst him instantly. And after a rough start, Krone has basically equalized in the bot lane, and he's becoming a huge threat. You can see he's actually even up 1,000 gold. He hasn't spent it, so it's not showing in the items yet. But on his next back, he's going to become much stronger than Glacier Fanboy, and he's playing the more scaling champion with this Varus. Nargo looking to see if anyone gets a little too ambitious on their split pushing, but I think he's being very wise, patiently waiting for his team to get some pressure down before he steps up too far. Now that Krone and Fernandez are up getting pressure in mid lane, he starts to step up again. And with most of the vision around the Dragon Pit, I don't think either team is going to go for a Baron anytime soon. The Kranken Degens have possibly the strength to go for it, but they don't have enough vision control. Meanwhile, Never Lose has better vision control over on that side of the map, but I don't think they have anyone who really wants to tank it. Looks like World possibly moving into the bottom, looking for maybe a play on Nargo, but he wisely is backing off. World looks over into the mid lane, seeing if he can possibly find out Crow. And it looks like the game has kind of stalled out a bit here. I think both teams are looking for that next dragon. I think the soul win condition can be a really big thing that could swing these team fights that have been going in the favor of the Kranken Degens. Meanwhile, I think a second mountain dragon is really going to put the soul win condition too far away to be a realistic possibility for Never Lose. Looks like the Degens are moving up towards the Baron. Meanwhile, Nargo pressing aggressively. He's looking to steal away some jungle camps. Hopefully pull some pressure here. With a recall coming out of Krone, I'd like to see Nargo not get too aggressive here, though. Looks like he is going to back away off after these Krug steal. But as you can see, the Degens have moved a bit of their vision up into that top side of the map, which I don't really like. I'd like it if they could keep a bit more vision around this dragon. It's spawning in less than a minute. Nargo looking to see if he can catch the AD carry before, but he's got a short amount of time. He flashes over the wall, Glacier flashes away, and Nargo's on the wrong side of this fight. Never Lose is going to look to chase him down. He goes invisible, but... oh, this is sneaky out of Nargo. Glacier has no idea. Nargo jumps on him. He's got no flash. He's going to go down to Nargo. Never Lose is looking to get onto him, but he's just using that ultimate to get over the wall. And picking up the AD carry before the fight starts, Nargo gets a free dragon over onto the side of Kranken Degens. They're looking to make a counterplay onto Max's Mundo, but with the Irelia ulti going wide and Max just blowing the flash, there will be no counterplay to be had. And with that, I think the game has significantly shifted in the favor of Kranken Degens. There's going to be another long window before another dragon spawns. And I think that's going to buy enough time that the Kranken Degens need to start setting up around this Baron, while Narcos forces more than one person to answer him in the side lane. They can't leave Glacier on his own like that. Looks like World is coming to answer, but he's not super safe on his own either. And with World showing in the bot lane, all of their Kranken Degens have gone into the top lane. Nargo stepping up onto the World. Is he going to take him down? The Hourglass will keep him safe, and I think Nargo may have overstepped. I think that was a little greedy out of the mid lane of their Kranken Degens, but they are going to pick up the Baron. Worth overall, but you would like to see a Baron buff on this Viego to assist in their split pushing. Eggman will clear out the wards, but there's no use for those wards anymore, as I think that Kranken Degens should be able to open up the base on this Baron buff and possibly even end the game. Looks like they're moving into a 1-3-1. I enjoy covering for Max before Krone and Fernandez can get too much pressure in the mid lane. He was in a really vulnerable spot where they could have made a play on him without any punishment going anywhere else on the map. But now the Degens are starting to set up a bit of a death ball down mid lane. And I think this can be an opportunity for World to make a big play, but the rest of the team just isn't in position, and World's forced to back off. I don't like that Devin and Glacier were in the side lanes there. I can see the merits of trying to get that side lane pressure third, so you don't have to deal with that split push against Baron, but I think they missed a huge window for World's Fiddlesticks to be able to find and engage. You can see that the Kranken Degens are starting to get their vision up on their flanks and make it way harder for this engage to work now. And Krone's going to be taking away these rafters, just expanding the gold lead of the Kranken Degens, which has gone up to over almost 5,000. World fires off the ultimate and steals away the big raptor. And Krone is just going to walk on out of there, and that is going to be huge. That's one of the biggest engage tools that the I Will Never Lose has. And they're basically just relying on Aqua's Swain hooks, which have been good, but I don't think it's enough to carry the team alone. Devin's Irelia might though, and Enjoy throws down a great disengage ult. The disengage has happened. Krone is turning on to Eggman. He fires off the Ash Arrow onto Devin. Excellent spacing from this Varus. Aqua buying some space of his own, but I think that fight goes handily in the favor of their Kranken Degens. You can see that initial engage from Devin came up short. Oh, and Nargo's going to take out World on the bottom lane and get his flash as well. And this is really starting to open up a big lane lead for their Kranken Degens. They're going to be using this Baron to siege down bottom lane, while Krone and Fernandez get pressure in the mid lane. But you can see how those team fights go. Without that Fiddlesticks ultimate, Devin's just diving in alone, and it's very easy for Enjoy Sejuani to just lock him down and keep Krone safe, and he does it excellently. Krone able to space properly, get a bunch of auto attacks along with hitting multiple multi-target Qs throughout that fight, and that's going to result in the first inhibitor of the game going over to the Kranken Degens, and I think they're going to be able to rotate over to bottom lane and possibly pick up another one here. World's still down for another 8 seconds. Good hooks coming out of Aqua Complex, and that's going to force the Nami ult out of Fernandez, and that's really big. With Glacier's Jhin ultimate coming up soon, they do not have a good way to interrupt this now. And with the Baron running off, I think that their Kranken Degens are probably going to look for a reset here. World's coming in with the Fiddlesticks ultimate. It's not the best one. Excellent bubble coming out of Fernandez, followed up by the ultimate, and Krone takes down World. Nardgo takes down Devin. He gets the Irelia. Uses the dash reset to jump onto the back line. Glacier's going down. Nargo's, I think, or Krone's going to take down Aqua Complex. Nargo's finally got the last kill onto Eggman, and a triple kill for Nargo, and that's going to be the game, you have to believe, going over to the Kranken Degens.
Blue team's inhibitor has been destroyed.
Pretty much all formality there. That was such a key bubble coming out of Fernandez's Nami. As both the divers were coming in, she was able to find the two-man bubble. Excellent work coming out of all of the Degens, and they'll go on to the finals. And with that win, the Kranken Degens are moving on to the finals of the Zon Cup. I'm here to take a deep dive into the game with Rawree.
Hey, great to be here with Dragons Are Optimal and see what we can get out of breaking down this game.
All right, now I want to go ahead and take us back. Let's look at the draft going into this game, because I think, well, I like both of these comps in isolation. I think based on the ease of execution, I'm definitely favoring their Kranken Degens in this game from the get-go.
Yeah, I definitely see that. You have the Mundo and Sejuani that are pretty tanky front line, give good peel for the back line, the Varus, the Viego, the real damage carries, while the onus of execution is really on the Fiddlesticks and Irelia to get in and dive the back line, and then maybe set something up for Galio there. That's looking a bit later into the game, though, looking at the team fight stage in terms of how they should execute that. Let's talk more about maybe the execution in terms of laning phase. Dragons Are Optimal. What are you thinking about the execution in each of the laning phases?
Well, I think as far as the individual lanes go, the side lanes for Never Lose are pretty favorable. They've got a lot of kill threat between that Irelia and the Swain and Jhin. But I really like this mid-jungle duo that came out of der Kranken Degens. Viego gets those double attacks every time he hits a spell, and as a melee champion, he can stack up really easy for Enjoy Gaming Sejuani, and we got to see it multiple times throughout the game. Enjoy hovering around that mid lane and setting up for Nardgo's Viego.
Definitely. There's plenty of CC for Viego to be able to get in there and get off a couple of those passive procs on the Q. I did want to talk about this. That Aurelia top pick is a bit interesting. We don't see it too often, and she has taken Conqueror there, the teleport as well. Do we want to talk maybe a bit more about how we think this is going to play out?
Right, so I think with this comp, you really want to see Irelia and Fiddlesticks getting into Fog of War and being able to get directly on to the Varus and the Nami. And we were able to see that in one of the team fights, and I think let's go ahead and bring up that replay right now. So this fight's actually going to start out with a pick onto Enjoy Sejuani. You'll notice it takes them a really long time to kill the Sejuani, but during this time, Varus isn't able to get off any damage. He's still joining the fight. His first bit of damage comes right here after Sejuani's already down.
Yeah, and something critical to notice is that because it took them so long to take down Enjoy Sejuani, it allowed Go and Crone to get into a flanking position while Team Never Lose work themselves into that choke point, allowing them to salvage a bit of the fight there. You see the Nami comes here, gets hit by the Jin Trap.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing to note, but a very good Hourglass out of world bought a lot of time there, and because he was able to escape afterwards, Nargos Viego wasn't able to get any of those crucial resets, and it's going to end up going down as a 3 for ace for the Team Never Lose, and they pick up the dragon after the fact. Now, while that fight did go very well for I Will Never Lose, I think the fight at the end of the game can really encapsulate how Der Kranken Degens really did want to see these fights playing out. I'm going to go ahead and take us into a replay of that fight. You'll see here, they're sieging up around the bottom lane, and World is going to look for the engage, but he finds it only onto Nargo and can't get that much damage. Meanwhile, a nice bubble into the Varus ulti and Sejuani ultimate, he basically gets killed without doing anything in this fight. And once that first kill goes down, you'll see Nargo's going to be able to pick up another one and use that to dive onto the backline, creating so much space for Crone. He's able to knock down Aqua, while Nargo picks up the triple with the in the backline.
Yeah, definitely a critical catch onto World on the Fiddlesticks. Didn't hit many people with that ultimate and then ultimately gets caught out. The kill onto Aurelia there was super critical to give Nardgo the mobility to actually get onto the backline and then ultimately kill the damaging carries to really win them that fight and ensure them the game win as well.
Going over the damage charts, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of the Degens. A lot of damage coming out of their primary carries with Nargos Viego and Crone Acorn's Varus, along with Max's Dr. Mundo stepping up a lot. Over on Never Lose, though, a lot of damage coming out of Aqua's Swain, but I think if we were to see them be successful, we would have need to see a lot more out of World's Fiddlesticks and Devon's Irelia.
Yeah, definitely. And Fiddlesticks is one of those jungle picks you want to be seeing dishing out a bit more damage throughout the game. Definitely not one of the tankier picks used to soak up the CC or used to soak up any of the pressure from the enemy team. And then not nearly as much damage on the Galio, though he is a supportive pick.
Very true. Now, I think let's go ahead and take a look over at the gold graphs, though, because this wasn't always in the best looking for Der Kranken Degens. So, looking at the gold graph, you can see throughout most of the early game, it was actually Never Lose with about a 2,000 to 1,000 gold lead. However, when the team fight started rolling around, we really saw it start to swing in favor of Der Kranken Degens.
Definitely. And 2,000 isn't an insurmountable amount of gold to come back from in a game, but you can definitely see that a gold lead on the enemy team is actually something that Viego deals with very well in because being able to take over the enemy carries if you're able to get a pick in one of these fights means that you now have that gold advantage on your team as well.
So true, but I think when we're looking at this gold graph, the reason it was so close, you have to look over to Enjoy Gaming, and he's going to be our player of the game for this game. If you look at this guy, he fell a little bit behind in CSD at 15, but that was because he was always out helping his lanes. You can see 7 kills and assists at 15 for 100% kill participation and plus 757 gold over his opposing jungle part. And I think without him covering for Nargo's lane, you don't see that kind of a comeback happening. We saw him multiple times making sure that Nargo could get those good resets as well as helping him get some of those kills to get back on the board. And Rawree, I know you've played with Enjoy in the past. What can you tell me about the advantages this kind of player brings to a team?
Yeah, definitely. And Joy is 100% a team-oriented player. He wants to make sure that the team is succeeding before he succeeds. He's making sure to get down the CC so that the carries can free hit the enemy team. He's making sure to peel for his carries so that they're not the focus of the damage that's coming off of the enemy team. A very support-oriented player.
And I'm expecting to see a lot more greatness coming out of this player as they're going into the final match. And with that, that's going to be good night from me, Dragons Are Optimal.
And good night for me, Rawree.